You might have woken up today and said, I want to see something awesome in Minecraft today. You might have said that you want to chill with your bros. You also might have said that you want to eat potato chips off your chest and pee in a jar so you don't have to go to the bathroom. I can't help you with that last one, but some would say it's my job to explore the infinite depths of the total compendium of Minecraft creations over the period of the last 14 years, find something compelling, and show you, give you access to that thing. This is a city in Minecraft. One of the largest creative mode cities in Minecraft ever created, an urban marvel with futuristic and medieval elements, reaching into influences through the past, present, and future. A Minecraft metropolis with its influences reaching a fourth-dimensional superposition with complex buildings, passageways, and underground that spans up and down, more realistic than terrain with endlessly flat areas. This sophisticated and incredible feat of city engineering in all of its complexity naturally could only have one name. This is Broville. Broville started in a place you'd never expect, 4chan, back in the 2010 era. They got some excellent feedback there. You see, back in these ancient days, there was a magical underwater kingdom called Brotopolis, with Broville being its above-ground brother. Like Wakanda Forever, the Minecrafters had an all-out street brawl to determine who was top dog, and Broville is the remaining city that we see today. The Minecrafters street brawl, I totally made that part up. But with how passive-aggressive internet combat is, it would be a nice way to break up the tension. I'm just kidding. I would never encourage violence against anyone. So this, like most things we've seen, started at the very beginning, before some of you were even born. February 2010, a guy named Old Shoes quit World of Warcraft. Let's give him a round of applause. No, I'll wait. Old Shoes is such an old player that he had purchased it before InfDev had even been released. Back in 2010, when getting started on the game, he saw a screenshot of a player who had built a bunch of identical houses going down a cobblestone road, and that is when the possibilities were unlocked in his mind. So he started working on the city for years by himself. Back in these ancient days of the internet and early Minecraft history, he's posting it to Minecraft threads and old forum sites, asking people what would be cool to add. Eventually, he put the map up for people to download after adding a bunch of interesting things in the map to find. This started getting the city some serious attention, especially with all the TNT caches he would hide in the ground, allowing for people to start chain reactions that would blow up the map. Destroying and griefing was such a big part of the game back then when it was initially catching on, and people wanted to blow up the biggest city they could get their hands on. Old Shoes worked on the first 9 version of Broville alone. Eventually, he faced the question of if he wanted to expand this to a much larger size, he would need some help. But who could you trust to help handle your baby? But after wrestling with apprehension, he decided to let other people, fresh minds, start to help expand Broville. They released version 10, the first collaborative version, in August 2011. After the release, they worked on other projects. Melonport. Melon-based port. Bro-Riental, an Asian-themed island build, and Brototype Island, which would eventually become the starting point in the map's final version, version 11, in which they decided to use most of these new creations as surroundings for a totally new city. You see, Broville versions 1 to 10 were all the same city on the same map, just expanding larger and larger. Since the base terrain looked so outdated, they decided to generate an entirely new map and recreate Broville there. This may seem weird within the universe of Broville, there being 2 different Brovilles of the same city in 2 different locations and timelines, but there's a good explanation for it. In the previous Broville, there was a latency redstone machine that caused significant lag whenever any player would go near it. Man, the earlier Broville sounds wild. This piece of Broville corporate machinery eventually created a rift in time and space, which allowed the unipositional 4th-dimensional object known as Broville to duplicate its superposition, now existing simultaneously in 2 different times and places. This happened at Brocorp, the tallest skyscraper in the city, and it has indications of the fallout with a broken down Brocorp from Broville version 10 in a chasm just under the new Brocorp. Sort of like Chernobyl with the elephant's foot sinking through the building layers until it settles in the basement. An object that, if you were to go into the room and look at it back in the 80s and 90s, would almost certainly kill you. This is the ominous vibe of disaster and incompetency that rests under the energy of Broville's citizens. And what do I mean by that? Well, it starts by exploring. I explored this place for several hours. Let's look at some of the highlights. I found a liquor store, a Bro Bucks, The ER. This was one of my favorites. Not a patient was to be found anywhere, but you could see the documentation on how they died. And I visited Brocorp, but this was before I learned about the chasm and rift in time and space that rests below its dark corporate presence towering over the city, so I didn't seek to find the ruins below. But you can. Next, I checked out the Bureau of Investigation. This place was amazing, and I learned a lot about the proactive role our city's law enforcement takes in making everyone safer. I found a movie studio which, weirdly enough, had some locked up government property in the back. I wouldn't recommend breaking in and seeing what's inside. And the housing construction, which really put a final message to how the citizens handle their town. It has a very hobo with a shotgun type feel. The city's design itself drew from all sorts of different styles. Modern architecture, mountain towns, Art Deco, neoclassical, but at its core, its style is mostly based off of the Pacific Northwest. I don't know if there's any connection between that and the absurdity within the map, you be the judge. But if you want to actually see the Pacific Northwest, we're actually building it block by block and build the Earth. And if you want to see the largest city ever built in Minecraft, you can take a look at Greenfield. Given that so many niches in terms of city building are covered in these contexts, what actually makes Broville so special? I would say that I actually identify a lot with Broville. I love being a jerk-off with my bros every day, but what really connects me with it is its combination of factors which puts it into one of the most unique spaces in the Minecraft map universe. I'll explain what I mean. This map competes respectably in beauty, wonder, planning, size, and terrain, but unlike other maps, exploring Broville is akin to reading a book where you can't stop turning the pages. Aside from the mix of some funny and some inappropriate things within the map, it ranks the highest in the most detailed interiors in terms of actually mapping it to a story about real people that I've ever seen. You can go into the laundromat and take dish soap out of the canisters, put it in your inventory, and walk away. Shoplifting. You'll fit right in. I may have been on 5 hours sleep, constantly nodding off and tripping balls from sleep deprivation just prior to exploring this city, but I found myself investigating until suddenly I realized that I'd been recording for 2 hours. In Minecraft, you have a lot of builders focused on making pristine stuff, or the biggest thing, or this, or that. Or even super detailed interiors that are quite nice to look at for as long as that captures our attention. But Broville combines excellency in all these categories, not at the forefront of any of it, but at expressing its own feeling and captivating you with the story being told about its civilization through an ironic and humorous way. Epistemological Soap on Discord put it really well. It can be considered someone's favorite because of its original style, its huge scale, the variety in its various features. It's funny and it's filled with secrets, more than you'll ever discover. Old Shoes and the other builders literally started burying interesting stuff 4 to 20 blocks deep in random parts of the nature areas, and no one's ever truly found all of it. That's on top of all the secrets packed into the urban areas and suburbs. I would highly recommend you download this map, turn it on, and just start exploring. Trust me, every nook and cranny is packed with creativity. A huge thanks to our top bros, Cristiano Frazanetti, Jonathan Finelli, Matthew Scarberry, Thibault Tollett, and EPRB. I'm tripping so much bro balls on our spiritual connection, I became the frat house.
Corporate accounts payable. Nina speaking.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.